What's up, guys? I hope you're all doing well, and thank you so much for popping into my review for the original 2010 How to Train Your Dragon. This is a new kind of angle that I'm doing. I thought maybe we can do some imagery in the background of trailers for the film. I thought that could be cool to kind of incorporate. We'll see how that works. I think this is kind of cool. But let's talk about it. How to Train Your Dragon. This film came out in 2010. It's 25 years old. It's not 25 years old. It's 15 years old. And this movie was a big hit when it came out. A huge critical success that went on to be nominated for Best Original Film or Best Animated Film at the Oscars. And also Best Original Score by John Powell. John Powell is probably a top 5 film composer for me, and I think this has got to be his best score. The theme of the film, the This Is Burke theme or the Test Drive theme, I think every time that those pieces of music, especially Test Drive, especially when that comes on and you hear it, it's really powerful. The first scene that you see him fly, I thought that was really incredible. Now, the film itself, does it hold up? Yeah, I think the story absolutely does. This movie has such a great screenplay, and I'm kind of surprised that it wasn't nominated for Best Original Screenplay at the Oscars as well, because the film was just so well written. The characters are so well realized, and Hiccup goes through such an emotional journey and such a character arc in this film, which I thought was really special. And all of the characters I thought worked really great. The romance aspect of it, in the first half of the movie, I wasn't too sure how I felt about the Astrid character. They don't really give her any relevance until she meets Toothless. Once that happens, we as an audience member start to like her a little more, just as Toothless has to get to like her. The audience has to do that as well, at least for me. So I kind of identified with Toothless in the moment where he has to kind of get to like this character, because I thought she was just kind of basic in one note. She's a Viking in training, and there's a bunch of other Vikings on the island. They've been there for 300 years, and their pests are dragons. And the Vikings are the pest control. And if you have to become a Viking, you go through the training, and then you kill the dragon at the end of the training, and then you're a Viking. I think that the film moves at such an impressive pace, accompanied by John Powell's score and all of the terrific voice performances. This film was co-directed by Dean DeBois. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but he also went on to direct the next 2 sequels and the upcoming live-action film, and co-directed also by Chris Sanders, the director of the recent, also critically acclaimed The Wild Robot, and he also co-directed Lilo and Stitch and voiced Stitch, and will voice Stitch again in about 2 weeks when we all go to see Lilo and Stitch. So I think Chris Sanders, as a storyteller, influenced a lot of the imagery in this movie, and I think he left a real special touch to it. But this is Dean DeBois' kind of series. I mean, he kind of really took hold of it and honed it in for that second film, which I also haven't seen in a long time, but I'm really excited to see that because I remember loving that. That was one of my favorite movies of the year. It came out. I actually was reviewing films back in 2014, so you can find a review for How to Train Your Dragon 2 up on this channel somewhere. You'll have to dig deep, but yeah, I raved about it then. I'm very excited to rewatch it. But yeah, in 2010, I wasn't reviewing films yet, so when this came out, I do remember seeing it in theaters. I remember seeing it in 3D. I remember the original film projection. We sat in the back row, and I remember looking back, seeing the film, and I remember just loving the experience. The film was really marketed on 3D. I mean, you see all these trailers behind me. I think they pushed really hard for the 3D. And I can only imagine that the 3D was good. I don't know. I think that they should definitely re-release it. They probably should have re-released it leading up to the new one, because I'd love to see this again in 3D. I mean, they advertised it for IMAX 3D, and I think the visuals would have looked incredible. The whole Burke setting and the sky and the mountains and the rock fixtures, just everything you see. I mean, it's really beautiful to look at. Now, the character designs themselves, I think from the neck down, they're good. But I just think that the facial expressions seem a little dated. And I think that when the second movie came, this did so successful that they gave it a bigger budget and they were able to make it look a little better. But yeah, some of the facial expressions just look kind of blank in the movie. A lot of Stoics' facial expressions look extremely stoic. And yeah, other than that stuff, though, I think the film is a masterpiece. This is just an animated masterpiece. It's emotional. You care about the relationship between Hiccup and Toothless. They are the Miyagi and Daniel-san of the How to Train Your Dragon series. It's these two is kind of why I stick around. But there's just so many other great things going on in this movie with just a sweeping story of a boy just trying to find his place. And in the beginning of the film, thinking he's going to go out and, serve his father and kill the dragon, when he realizes that he caught the Night Fury, but guess what? He doesn't have it in himself to kill him. He sees himself in the Night Fury. He was just as scared as Toothless was in that moment. I just think it was so well realized, their relationship and bond. And once they start to become friends and he starts spending all his time with them, he's going to Viking training in the day and he's going to hang out with Toothless at night, and he's starting to balance these two lives. And finally, when he's put to the ultimate test to kill the dragon because he wins the dragon training, he can't do it, which of course leads to the capture of Toothless and Toothless guiding Stoic and the Vikings to the dragon's nest and the dragon's lair. And you find out that the dragons, it seemed like they just wanted to get food for this big beast, or else they were going to be eaten too. And once the beast is taken out, the dragons are able to live alongside the Vikings and the people of Berk. So I just thought the movie was so satisfying, with a great score, great voice performances, some wonky facial expressions and some wonky facial animation, but this is a great film. It's a top 5 DreamWorks film, and I'm very excited to see the live-action adaptation to this. As I was watching this, there were certain scenes and shots that you see in the film that you see in the trailer for the upcoming live-action movie. I was like, oh, wow, they actually put that in there. So it seems like it's going to be a really well-done adaptation going into it. So my review and rating for How to Train Your Dragon is 4.5 out of 5 stars. I think this is, like I said, one of DreamWorks' best, and definitely one of the better animated films ever made. So guys, comment down below. Do you plan on seeing the new remake of How to Train Your Dragon? DreamWorks already announced that they're going to go ahead with How to Train Your Dragon 2. I think they can imagine how successful this is going to be. So there's going to be a sequel to the live-action remake, which is going to retell the story of the second film. But before we get into that, I'm going to have to talk about it. So How to Train Your Dragon 2, my review will be coming shortly, very shortly, because we're just weeks away. We're probably less than a month away from the release of the new one. So I'm very excited to see it. That's it for me, guys. You can follow me on Twitter and or X at RyanKing72 and Instagram and TikTok at KingArises131. That's been it for me. Thank you so much for watching my review for How to Train Your Dragon. And until next time, over and out.